Okay, we're live. I have Godwinson on. Hello, everyone. I have Godwinson on with me today. We're going to be talking about an individual known as Matthew Vickkers.
Yeah, hello, John.
Yeah, I have to tell people what this is about because people might be just tuning in not knowing what we're talking
Well,
about.
just first of all, before we get into settling the issues of the day, I think we should talk about, for a start, right? I don't know why you've decided to put this weird, sort of filthy, grubby cartoon as the thumbnail for the stream. If it's Lolicon, John, I'm gone. I'm not going to talk to you.
It's not Lolicon.
If it's from a Lolicon source, like, what on earth is this cartoon?
It's from Pop Team Epic.
Right, so already I just don't know what you're talking about. But we'll continue.
Then maybe you shouldn't comment on things you don't know about.
Second of all, right, John, just second of all, right, you're calling me out on Twitter saying you want to fire up a stream straight away. You leave me waiting for 20 minutes, and I don't know why.
Because
are you writing down a script? Because I don't think your words will help.
I don't have a script.
Like, I really don't. Why did it take 20 minutes to set up a stream that takes seconds to fire up?
Who cares?
I just don't know why you left me waiting. It makes no sense.
I told you.
But there are my two issues.
I told you as soon as I got
before
the stream
we begin
time set
settling
out.
everything in the halls of debate here, John. For heaven's sake. So, what do we want to talk about first? Do we want to talk about Josh? Because I think that's salient. Just before we begin in the Matthew Vickkers stuff, right?
You want to talk about Josh? Sure.
Let's just talk about Josh for a moment.
Yeah,
I am perfectly happy to walk back whatever full endorsement I gave Josh on winning and BTFOing Dax on the pedo debate. Right? I was under the apprehension that Josh was 15 when he was doing that Blockland stuff. Clearly, I'm wrong. And I'm perfectly happy to recognize that Josh was adamantly defending Lolicon.
Why would it be okay if he was 15?
February on his Kiwi farms. Like, I'm perfectly happy to recognize that.
Sure.
And I do think that his change of mind, either it's very convenient or he's come to that change of mind after running whatever it was, 9chan, and having pedophiles surreptitiously post Lolicon on that site. Whether he's come to that conclusion via convenience or because of experience, either way, it's a very quick change of mind. So I'm happy to concede that, John. Is there anything else you want to talk to me about, Josh, before we move on?
You said something weird. Why would it be okay for Josh to be looking up Shotokan when he's 15? It doesn't make any sense.
But when Josh is on Blockland 10 years ago, when he's apparently 15, I thought that was a little bit more okay than if he was in his mid-20s.
So what?
That's just me, John.
Okay, so my question to you then, is there age-appropriate Shota?
No.
Well, then why the fuck would it be okay when he's 15? It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Well, isn't Josh also a minor when he's 15? Like,
it doesn't matter. Like, he's a minor. Looking up that kind of hardcore degenerate shit isn't fucking normal.
Josh
the
was not 15.
Doesn't make sense.
I'm happy to concede the point that Josh was not 15. And I'm happy to concede the point that Josh was very conveniently changing his mind.
Well, Josh is a piece of shit. Why would you trust him to begin with?
I'm perfectly happy to concede that point, John. Is there anything else?
Why would you trust Josh to begin with? He's a piece of shit.
Tell us something new. Tell us something new, John.
No, the question, that's the dodging the question. Why would you trust Josh's word?
Well, I mean, is it dodging the question to also bring up why would you trust Sen, who also looks at Lolicon and stuff like that? How far do you want to go, John? Because I'm willing to go all the way.
Well, first, if you want to talk to Sen, you can go to Sen yourself.
My association with Josh is not as deep and well connected as your association with Sen, the pedophile.
Who is Sen?
Let me just clarify that. I'm not calling Josh my friend. I'm happy to walk back whatever endorsement I gave him on the fucking him BTFOing Diddler Dax on the
That's great. Sen already addressed these allegations on a stream, and if you want to go ahead and confront him about it,
well, we're not going to come to an agreement where Sen's not a pedophile in my mind. So, I mean, we're just not
okay, so why do you think Sen's a pedophile? I'm curious.
Well, he's masturbating to Lolicon. He's gathering Lolicon.
That's not what he says.
He's being catfished.
No, that was my retarded mistake for saying
by a Lolicon and pedophiles. Like, come on, John. We're not going to agree on this issue where I don't think that Sen, your best friend, is a pedophile. And I would question your judgment if you're questioning my judgment on Josh. I would question your judgment as to why you actually call this Sen guy your friend and you're willing to back for him on Twitter. I am perfectly happy to wheel back whatever endorsement I gave for Josh in light of the facts. The reality is I didn't realize that he was posting on Kiwi Farms in February about how Lolicon was great. I didn't realize that was the case.
Yeah, sure.
And I do think it's a convenient change of mind that he had when he was debating Diddler Dax. Now, I don't know if that's purely convenience or whether he's actually come to that change of mind through his experience, but I do think that change of mind is relatively quick. So how far do we want to go, John? Do we want to move on to Matthew Vickkers or carry on with this?
Sure. I just want to address this real quick. Okay, so for those who don't know, Sen apparently shared Lolicon in one instance in order to get into a girl's pants.
But why are you even saying apparently? There's documented evidence of this.
Well, okay, fine. There's documented evidence of this happening. on fucking
So it's
Kiwi
not an apparent
farms.
hypothetical scenario. It's true. It's real. It's fact.
Okay, sure, it's true. He was in a DM conversation. And he posted lolicon pictures to a person privately. Who gives a fuck?
So do you want to carry on then attacking me for Josh, or do you want to? Just
Yeah, no, I do want to
Matthew
actually carry on
Vickkers
attacking for Josh because you're making a false equivalency here. Sen already addressed this. He did so on the Cross of Judgment stream. You can
I
go
don't
ahead
care
and
if he
watch it.
addressed it. He still did this.
Oh, so
right?
you just want to
It's
judge
the same
people
with
without
Josh
hearing?
addressing his degeneracy.
You want to judge people
he still
without?
did this.
Okay,
so whether we let one thing slide or another thing
Godwinson.
slide, John, I mean, we just have to move forward because we're not going to agree or come to an agreement where I think that Sen is not a pedophile. That's just not going to happen.
No, here's the thing. When someone's accused of something, I'm going to be willing to listen to hear the other side out. Just as I was listening to hear Josh on his side out.
Okay, well, have you listened to Josh's side? Like, have you even spoken to Josh? Like, have you asked Josh to come on the stream with you?
He lied. Well, firstly, Josh would never come on stream with me because he's too much of a chicken shit.
Well, I mean, have you even asked him? Because, I mean, you made a tweet or a stream about, you know, Godwinson would never talk to me. Well, here I am, and I'm perfectly
No, I
happy
never
to
said
talk
that.
to him.
I didn't say that. Why are you putting words in
I'm
my
pretty
mouth?
sure in that video you made, you were all about, oh, Godwinson's scared and he won't talk to me and he'll use PPP as like his fucking cipher.
That's because the reason I said that,
sure you said
firstly,
that.
I didn't say you would never talk to me, firstly. And secondly, the reason I said that was because as soon as I said, hey, how about you invite me on stream? We can hash it out there. And there was you, King of Pole, and PPP. 3 people have expressed bias against me, and I was willing to go on. And you're like, no, I don't want to waste my time with John Kelly. John Kelly's just
Let me tell you, John, that I had
God.
John, I had zero knowledge of who you were.
Mm-hmm.
Like, zero knowledge. All I knew was a faint fucking whisper from Leo Pirate a couple of, months ago about how John Michael Kelly was the hero of Gamergate. Or was some crazy nut job who was deciding to, jump on the Simpspiracy. That's all I know about you, John. Like, zero. Like, absolutely zero, John.
Why would you just believe
I'm
people without checking
willing
things?
to believe my friend, well, my friend PPP on stream when he says that you're spurging out.
PPP is busy throwing you under the bus. Why are you? Wait a minute. PPP is busy throwing you under the bus. Why do you call him your friend?
Well, I mean, if he is throwing me under the bus, he was my friend at the time when he was telling me about who you were.
Yeah, but so PPP's a retard. Right? He doesn't know what he's talking about at all.
Like, so you're going to make the argument that PPP is this fat retard with zero agency and he's constantly led by more powerful people. It's just completely irrelevant and just absurd.
Yes, I will make the argument that PPP is a fat retard.
I will give you a valid point here when you say that, okay, PPP was sort of humiliated. Like, he was irrelevant. Like, by the time Ralph had chewed him up and his asshole had been exposed all over the fucking internet, yeah, sure, he was irrelevant. He was getting 2 views or whatever a video. Yeah. And I came along and I saw that this guy, I could actually spar off this guy creatively, and we had a fucking great time making videos. So whether he's throwing me under the bus now, like, we still had a good time making videos, and okay, sure, I gave him an audience, but pretty much from beyond since he came back, all of that audience has been his. Like, it's all him. I'm not pulling any strings. PPP has agency. He's not remedial.
No, the reason I call why do you keep up bringing up agency? You can be a retard and have full agency. The problem with PPP is he makes these wild accusations and goes on these rants about how he's
you
also
make these wild accusations. I make wild accusations. This is the internet.
No, I have things to back my shit up. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I do.
So when you're saying that, okay, let's go into Matthew Vickkers then. So when you're saying that Matthew Vickkers, let's just read the tweets. When you're saying that Matthew Vickkers is disgusting or he's raised this whore of a daughter and stuff like that, just read the tweet so people have context.
Yeah, sure. Let me pull up on screen. Give me a second. There we go. Let me get the first tweet because I do want to address this.
I just don't understand why you larp under this pretense that you're morally pure and you never make any baseless assertions.
I don't.
That's what you constantly do.
I don't. You don't know anything about me if that's the case. I've told people repeatedly, don't just take my word on things. Look things up yourself. I am not a perfect individual. People say that I'm a self-righteous prick. I'm not. I have my own mistakes and character flaws. I tell people, yeah, go ahead, pick them apart. I'm not telling people, oh yeah, I am so much better than that. I mean, if I come across that way, that's
John,
just part of the show.
Let me just read your tweets here.
Sure.
This is what you said to Matthew Vickkers, father of faith, Ethan Ralph's girlfriend, who's fresh out of high school. These are your words, John. You raised your daughter to be a degenerate whore, and no amount of trying to deflect from your shitty parenting by getting big mad on the internet with the empty tough guy threats will ever change. Do better with your remaining kids. Maybe one or more of them will amount to something. For heaven's sake, John, that whole thing is baseless. Like, what are you talking about?
No, it's not. Faith is a liar,
well, let's just
and she
pick it
lied
apart
for
line
money.
by line, John.
Huh?
Yeah. So how has Matthew Vickkers single-handedly raised his daughter to be a degenerate whore?
Is
Like,
she
where
out
did he give him those
fornicating?
class?
Is she out fornicating with the gun?
Vickkers, John?
Is she out
where did
fornicating
Matthew
with the gun?
Vickkers sit his daughter down when she was a child and say, I'm going to raise you to be a degenerate
Godwinson, don't do
When
this
did that
reframing the argument trick. I know you like to do that to people, but I'm not going to have that.
Look,
As to
I'm
answer your
just saying
question
that this
directly,
is baseless. This is entirely baseless.
It's
John.
baseless?
Like, what you're saying is baseless.
Okay,
How
so
have you come to the conclusion that Matthew Vickkers raised his daughter to be a degenerate whore?
I'm
That's
pretty
baseless.
sure
You have no
everyone
evidence.
saw exactly how and why she's a fucking whore. That's why.
Well, how has he raised his daughter to be that way?
Because
He's
she
not given a
became
lesson.
that way, you fucking retard, and she has a history of doing it, even when she was a minor. So of
So
course, he
because
didn't raise
she's
her to be
turned out
chaste
this
enough.
way,
Yeah,
because
it's
she's
his
turned out
fucking
this way,
fault, and the
she's
parents
clearly
should
got a
own the
mental illness,
responsibility
John.
that their daughter's a
No,
fuck
John,
up.
she clearly has a mental illness. And
Yeah.
you're saying that that's purely down to Matthew Vickkers raising her to be a degenerate whore? It's just not the case. That's baseless.
Yeah,
for a
no,
start.
dude, I point
So
out.
shall we move on?
Did you? No, we're not
batting
moving on.
away
We're not
other
moving on from this
baseless
point
claims
yet.
that
I'm
you
not
put in
done
that
yet.
first
I'm
tweet,
not done
John?
yet.
Or shall
Did
we
you-
just carry on?
Okay, so if I'm talking, don't interrupt me. And secondly, when it comes to like,
I can't even hear you, John. I can't even hear you, John.
hey, are you having
All I'm
trouble
hearing
hearing
is
me?
lies.
You're hearing lies from me?
Well, 3, 2, 1, go. Lay out your stall and I'll lay out mine. Go.
Okay, sure. The
Come on,
reality
John.
is that she has sex with Ralph for money and fame. That's why she's having sex with him. That's why she's in a relationship with him, because she wants the e-clout. That's it. You could also say that Ralph is in an inappropriate relationship and that, you know, there was like a little bit of grooming involved and stuff. But at a certain point, I got to stop feeling sympathy for this supposed victim when she's not even filing any kind of charges or suing Ralph for the revenge porn that he released. Which she's still a victim of that, but she's a retarded victim. I'm not going to have sympathy for her when it's weeks and weeks and weeks go by and there's no charges and no lawsuit filed, nothing. Instead, she just sticks with the gun. So she's clearly doing it because the gun is a popular guy, and that's the only reason anyone would ever do Ralph to begin with, unless you want to say that Ralph has a...
John,
What?
Like, all of this is irrelevant because we're talking about Matthew Vickkers.
Right, and he raised his daughter to be this way. That is how she developed this way.
It's just not the case. That is
Then
just
what?
not
Then
the case.
explain the
There's a clear
degeneracy.
John, there's a clear documented history that she has with mental health professionals and having mental illness. That is not down to Matthew Vickkers.
She could be
Matthew
mentally
Vickkers
ill
hasn't
and not
made
a
her
whore.
John. Matthew Vickkers.
No,
has
we're not giving
made
her the,
mentally
oh, she has
ill.
mental illness, so she has no agency pass. No, fuck that shit.
John. How does her being mentally ill mean that Matthew Vickkers has raised his daughter to be a degenerate whore?
What does her mental illness have to do with her being a degenerate whore?
John, answer the question. We're talking about Matthew Vickkers.
No, the question is just
baseless
retarded.
claims
It's
that
framed
you're
in such a
firing at this
disingenuous
man
manner.
with zero empathy and zero respect. You're saying that
Oh,
he
I don't
raised
have
his
enough
daughter
empathy?
to be a
Oh, too bad.
degenerate
I don't
whore.
care. So what? I'm not a big hero. I'm not going out there saying, oh, yes, I got to defend Faith. In fact, I did defend her. I said, hey,
but
this is
you're also
inappropriate for Ralph to
saying
get in
that
this
you make
relationship.
claims that aren't based. John, you're also saying that you make claims that aren't baseless and all have like 100% verifiable evidence when you don't.
Okay, fine. Then I guess Faith isn't a liar. She is just going out with Ralph because for all the goodness of the heart.
What does Faith, right, for a start, what does Faith lying have to do with you saying that Matthew Vickkers raised her, sat her down when she was a child and said, you're going to grow up to be a degenerate whore? What does that mean?
Godwinson, realistically, does anyone actually sit down their degenerate children and say, yeah, go do these degenerate things? Or is it neglect and
Which is why you saying you raised your daughter to be a degenerate whore is just wrong and baseless.
No,
and
it's
clearly
not.
It hasn't happened.
But no, that is what happened, Godwinson. Like, the proof is in the
you're
pudding. How are you
saying,
denying
who
her
does
being...
this?
The
You're
only
saying-
way your
you're
argument makes
saying,
any
who does
sense
this?
is if
And
you
you're
want
just
to take
saying,
up the Faith.
Matthew Vickkers is the only person in the world that sat his whore daughter down and said, you're going to be a degenerate whore? Like,
Godwinson,
come on,
that's
man.
not how reality works. People don't become
No, it's
fuck-ups.
not how reality works.
Then why are you making
So
that
why
argument?
Are you saying it's that the case?
Why are you making that argument, Godwinson? That the only way someone can be raised to be a degenerate whore is if they actually, the parent specifically tells them in these instructions. It's fucking retarded. The problem is
Okay,
that
well, you give
the
me your
problem is that
conditions
despite
on how
Matthew
Matthew
Vickkers being
Vickkers
this
raised this
base
degenerate
Chad dad, the Chad dad, Matthew
John
Vickkers.
Michael Kelly.
What?
Give me your conditions on how Matthew Vickkers has raised this degenerate whore daughter.
I already
don't
did.
see any evidence that he's personally raised this daughter.
Okay,
to be a
do you
degenerate
believe
whore.
that Faith is a whore?
Are you going to answer my question, John, or are you just going to fire back?
I am
questions?
answering your question because every time I answer it, you're like denying the fact that she's a whore or seemingly to do so. So I'm clarifying if you believe
the
she's a
fact
whore.
that she's a degenerate whore who was thumbed by Ethan Ralph.
Okay,
that's reality.
That
right?
is all the
but I
evidence
don't
I need.
believe. Look, John, I don't believe
Matthew
that
Vickkers is a horrible parent.
Her father raised her to be a degenerate whore. Sure, she's a degenerate whore. She got thumbed by Ethan Ralph.
Oh, was she just born that way, Godwinson?
But I don't
Godwinson,
believe that it's all solely down to Matthew Vickkers.
Godwinson, was she just born that way?
He didn't raise his daughter to be this way.
Was she just born that way then?
She wasn't raised to be this way. She's got a mental illness, John.
Oh, okay, so her mental illness makes you a degenerate whore. That makes no fucking sense. In fact, that's insulting to both people in that situation where their only means of survival is like whoring themselves out.
So you're saying that John, you're saying that you only turn out to be a degenerate whore if you have Matthew Vickkers as a father? Like, what is your argument?
If you have bad parenting, then yes, you will become a degenerate.
Well, okay, for a start, that's further on in this tweet. So you say no amount of trying to deflect from your shitty parenting by getting mad on the internet with ethnically tough guy threats will ever change. So define shitty parenting.
Him not raising his daughter better to not become this way.
How do you know he's not raised his daughter better? Like,
because she is the way she is. Because the parents didn't take care of her enough. Obviously, the fault lies with the parents.
For her enough? Like, what are you defining as care?
Not sitting down with your daughter and telling her, "Hey, don't be a leftist degenerate fuck." Very simple stuff, Godwinson. I know you're not a parent, so you don't understand this shit.
Doesn't Matthew Vickkers vote for Trump? He goes to the Trump Hotel. He's a self-made Republican businessman. He's a gun owner. I'm pretty sure he's not a leftist, John.
Godwinson, with all the coverage you've done about the alt-right and the right in general being degenerate fuck-ups, are you really surprised that Trump supporters aren't these Christian-chased people?
But you're saying that because he didn't sit her down and say leftists are evil, that's bad parenting, when that's not the case.
No, actually, that's not bad parenting. Telling people that leftist values is bad and evil and you shouldn't follow them is good fucking parenting.
Right, okay, so that's good parenting, and that's exactly what Mr. Vickkers was doing. Mr. Vickkers was doing this. He's a
Clearly
Republican.
He wasn't doing it enough if his daughter's going bad grifting off of Black Lives Matter.
What's he supposed to do? Clockwork Orange style, tape her eyes open so she can watch fucking Black Lives Matter protests? Like, what are you talking about, John?
That's funny. What I'm talking about is the fact that despite all his boasts and his claims and his tall tales about how he's such a victim and all this other shit, he clearly didn't raise the daughter right, because if he raised the daughter right, the daughter would grow up to be right. It's that simple.
There's only so much parenting can go, John.
Yeah, you know what?
So far a parent can actually go in raising their child.
Yeah, you know what?
I'm certain in my own mind
the thing is,
that Matthew Vickkers did not sit his daughter down and say, "Here's how to grow up to be a degenerate whore." I'm pretty sure he did everything in his power to stop that from being a reality.
If that was the case, why was she allowed on the internet when she had this mental illness? Why was she allowed on shooting ranges?
John, why are you allowed on the internet when you've got a mental illness?
I don't have a mental illness. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not mentally ill. You're fucking talking bullshit now, attacking my character because you've
Okay, John, right, we'll walk back and pretend that you don't have autism, right? We'll pretend that that's not the case.
I don't have autism.
I mean, are you going to shackle up people with autism away from the internet? Are you just going to say, no autist, you can't have any internet?
Dude, that is such a false equivalency. Having autism and being suicidally depressed are two fucking different things. If you can't wrap your head around that,
in my mind, they're all mental illnesses, John.
Well, this is why you're not a doctor, Godwinson, and you shouldn't be talking about mental health.
I shouldn't be talking about mental health?
No, because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, I'm not talking from any professional expertise on mental health.
No, you're not. If you did a little bit, if you did a modicum of research on this, you would know those are two completely different things, and you can't just lump all mental health issues together in a big soup.
And recently. So, I mean, it's not just me saying that she's mentally ill. It's healthcare professionals are saying she's mentally ill. Her own father, her family, even Ethan Ralph is saying
that is a good point to bring up. So her father recognized she was mentally ill, but allowing her to go on the internet, unsupervised, getting involved with people, allowed her to go on a plane trip and all this other shit, and wasn't giving her the proper care and attention that she needs. That proves my point that he raised his daughter to be a degenerate whore because he didn't care enough to actually treat the issues that she was going through. Anything else you want to add to that?
First of all, right, Mr. Vickkers' account of his daughter is that she was a good girl, she was great, she was one side to him, and then suddenly she's 18, she's flying out to Guntsville, Virginia, where she's got her own agency, and he was unaware of her being mentally ill. Like, he was unaware.
Godwinson, you keep on doing this thing where you keep on saying,
"Oh, you can't lay the blame of
Godwinson,
Mr. Vickkers' feet, for heaven's sake."
Godwinson, you keep on doing this thing where at the same time you're saying, "Oh, Faith has her own agency, and also she's mentally ill."
Yeah, and you don't even answer my questions, John.
So which is it? Is she too mentally retarded to go ahead and make her own decisions, or does she have agency? Which one do you want to go with?
She has agency, clearly.
Okay, then the whole mental illness thing
also have agency, John.
Okay,
like, do you not live in a world where people with mental illness have zero agency?
That is a wonderful answer. So don't bring up the fact that she's mentally ill as some kind of deflection from the fact that she's a degenerate whore.
Do you not think that her mental illness has led to her being thumbed by Ethan Ralph? Because I think it's
no, I think that's her own fucking fault.
I don't healthcare professionals, her own family and friends.
I don't think there's any basis to make that claim at this point. I don't think there's any basis to make the claim that, oh, her mental illness is what led to her being thumbed in the ass. Especially since you acknowledge his agency.
John, it's a pretty more concrete claim and basis for which to make that claim. I've got healthcare professionals, her own family, her own friends saying that she's mentally ill.
Well,
I've got
by the
more
way,
of a
what
fucking case on my side than you saying that Mr. Vickkers is a bad
Wait, what
parent.
healthcare professionals? Do you have like any reports, documentation on this, or we're just taking
right?
people's
Okay,
words?
so have you read Mr. Vickkers' timeline where he checks her into a hospital and she's being
Matthew Vickkers was
healthcare
accused of beating his own daughter, and you just believe him because okay,
so you're going to believe Ethan Ralph when he says that Matthew Vickkers has beat his own daughter, right?
Oh no, I don't believe Ethan Ralph on anything. No, don't tell.
So why are you even bringing up the fact that Ralph has said that Matthew Vickkers has beaten his own daughter?
Because that claim didn't originate from Ralph, you retard. It originated from Faith herself. She made that claim, and that's why Ralph echoed the claim. Now, you could say that Ralph is a retard for bringing it out into the public. Sure, that's fair play. But the claim still originates from Faith, and she made the claim before Ralph ever made it. So we don't know who's right in the situation.
No, she didn't make the claim before Ralph. That's just retarded.
Then
there's no history of her talking and saying.
I believe it's out there. You can find it. I don't have like the source like on hand.
John, there's zero evidence of her saying.
So where did Ralph get the idea? Did Ralph just come up with it in thin air? Is that what you're saying?
Ralph clearly coerced something out of her to get a win.
Where's the evidence of that? Where's the evidence of coercion?
The evidence is the tweet, John.
Which tweet?
The evidence is him saying, "Oh, it's funny because Faith has just told me that you beat her."
Okay, so Ralph claims Faith told him that he beats her. We're going to assume that was coerced.
100%.
Okay,
he's the adult.
Okay, well then you're retarded.
He's an adult by almost 10
I'm sorry,
years.
dude. You just don't know how evidence works.
Senior, John.
This is the same type of argument as Dax Herrera's blackmailing people. There's no evidence to back that up either.
What are you even talking about? Why are you even bringing up Dax Herrera? What's the matter?
Because your argument is the same. Your argument is the same retarded argument
should be nailed to a tree, John.
No,
come on, for heaven's sake.
No, the reason I bring that up is because PPP had claimed profusely.
Well, I am not PPP. If you want to talk to PPP, just fire him off a stream with PPP.
Oh no, that's never happening.
Let's just clarify this.
Let me
not speak for me. I didn't speak for PPP. He's not a retard with zero agency. He has like no idea what's going on in the world. He's not like remedial. He does his own thing. For heaven's sake, John.
Sure. Okay,
I can accept
PPP, all that.
Talk to PPP.
You're missing the point, though. I didn't bring up PPP to like say, oh, well, that's a reflection on you. I brought that up because it's a good comparison. You're claiming...
It's not a good comparison. Yes. It's an irrelevant comparison.
How is it irrelevant?
What does PPP have to do with you making baseless claims about Matthew Vickkers raising his daughter to be a degenerate whore?
Oh, wait, so you have a problem with baseless claims? Why'd you make a baseless claim that Ralph coerced
I've always had a problem with your baseless claims, John.
No, wait,
I have no problem with making baseless claims myself. I said this frequently.
Okay, so why should anyone take you seriously?
Talk about, oh, I'm exposing you because you're making baseless claims. When you yourself also frequently say baseless claims, John.
Okay,
your whole shtick is making baseless claims, John.
That is not my shtick. You can make that baseless claim you want. You do love making baseless claims.
We've not even read past the first
Dude, why should anyone take you seriously when you just admit that you make baseless claims all the time?
And you make baseless claims all the time, John.
I don't admit to that. I don't admit to I've never said that. That was you who put that on yourself. I never put that on myself. I try to get things as accurate as I can.
You raised your daughter to be a degenerate whore. Baseless claim.
It's not baseless. It's not baseless. She is a degenerate whore. He raised her. He raised her to be a degenerate whore. 1 + 1 = 2.
That's just nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. Just because Matthew Vickkers raised his daughter,
so you don't believe that parenting. So you believe that parenting has no effect on the.
Raised her to be a degenerate whore.
Okay,
that's just wrong. And
I just want to point out.
Just completely absurd.
Okay, so you're trying to say that parenting has nothing to do with the development of a child.
No, I'm not trying to say. I am saying that parenting only goes so far, and there's zero way Matthew Vickkers sat his daughter down and said, "I'm going to raise you to be a degenerate whore."
Yeah. So any mistake
John Michael Kelly.
Yeah. So any mistake that Faith does can be blamed on mental illness, but she still has agency. But at the same time, it's not the parents' fault.
How can every mistake that Faith does be blamed on Matthew Vickkers, John?
I'm not saying every mistake is blamed strictly on Matthew Vickkers. I'm saying that he didn't raise his daughter properly, because if she has agency, she would have had the wherewithal to know, hey, you know what? When it comes to dating 35-year-old men that are twice my age, I shouldn't be doing that. If she was raised properly, she wouldn't be getting involved with relationships with that guy or that 20-year-old fuckhead.
I just don't know what you define as being raised properly. Matthew Vickkers has raised his daughter perfectly well.
I'm not here to give a lecture on parenting, but a very basic thing that everyone can understand is that it's wrong to be a fucking whore.
A normal functioning human being who's been raised by a person like Matthew Vickkers does not fly out to Guntsville, Virginia, does not be thumbed in the ass by Ethan Ralph.
You have no basis for that, you retard.
Well, you have zero basis for saying that Matthew Vickkers raised his daughter.
I already gave out the basis. You just want to reject the evidence that's right in front of your eyes.
There's zero evidence, John.
Is she? You admit she's a whore. You admit she has agency. You admit she's a whore. You admit she has agency.
Have you got like years of faith in Matthew Vickers's father-daughter relationship?
Wait, do I have to have a camera inside their personal lives in order to make a conclusion?
Because I'm pretty sure you don't, John.
Godwinson, are you pulling a Sargon on me?
Claims, John.
Godwinson, are you doing this Sargon type of argument? Oh, do you have any video footage evidence
do you just
of me
bring
typing this tweet?
Ghosts from Gamergate constantly, John?
It's not a ghost from Gamergate. What the fuck are you talking about?
Anita Sarkeesian is alive and well, and she's not nailed to a tree.
Dude, nobody cares. I don't give a fuck about Anita Sarkeesian. Why would you bring up this Gamergate shit? Sargon's been around past Gamergate. Are you just lost in 2014?
Like, what's the matter? Like, genuinely, John, like, what is the matter with you? Can you not define shitty parenting for me beyond not sitting your daughter down and saying leftists are evil?
Oh, can you define shitty parenting for me? What does it mean to be a shitty parent? I'm forming a conclusion on Matt Vickkers' character based on his actions and how his daughter ended up.
Zero evidence, John.
It's not zero evidence.
Baseless conclusion.
You conceded to all my points, which you concede to all the premises, which lead to my valid conclusion.
Zero evidence, John. And now you're doing these ad hominem, weird fucking off-British accents to pretend that you've won, John. Like, I don't
making fun of your accent is not an ad hominem. That's just me making fun of your accent.
But it's not making fun of my accent, because you're not even answering my questions.
What do you mean? Your question about defining parentage? Can you define something that's obvious to me?
What are you even saying, John? Because I can't even make out what
I'm not taking
an
argument. I'm not taking like this disingenuous argumentation seriously. Are you kidding me? That's absurd.
Well, let's go on to the next tweet that you put out then, John.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
In fact, no. You can read out my response to what that tweet was, where you say, "Oh, you raised your daughter to be a."
You want me to read out my response? Okay, give me a second. I gotta get the tweet.
Read my words, John.
All right, let me find your first response. Okay, I got it. Give me a moment. I'm gonna put it on screen so the audience can see it. And let me read it out. Extremely harsh and lacking in empathy. Mr. Vickkers is a good man.
For heaven's sake, give me the fucking right of reply. Read my words properly and with a bit of fucking conviction, John. For heaven's sake.
Okay. Extremely harsh and lacking in empathy. Mr. Vickkers is a good man, a law-abiding pillar of the community, upstanding businessman and gun owner. Unfair to say that he's entirely responsible for his daughter being thumbed by the gun. She clearly mentally ill and in need of proper help.
Well, you garbled up the tweet because you can't read properly.
Whoa.
But I do stand by everything I said.
Didn't you bitch about ad hominems just a moment ago? That's funny.
John, come on. So what problem do you have to pick in that tweet? It was extremely harsh and lacking in empathy.
Yeah, I'm not an empathetic guy. I'm not this liberal. I'm not a limey dick liberal. Like, what do you want me to do? Just be like, oh my gosh, Faith got abused by Ralph. What? Why do you have to cry for Faith?
Why do you have to be something else other than human to show empathy, John?
Dude, I don't get, like, why you're asking me if I need to show empathy. This is such an emotionally based charged argument.
Well, because you're attacking the man's... You're attacking the daughter's father, John.
Yes, yes, I am. I'm 100% attacking the father of the daughter.
You are 100% attacking him. You say
that's right.
You raised your daughter to be a degenerate whore.
That is I completely stand by that because that is what he did, and he can't cry foul at this point.
And you're incorrect and wrong.
I'm incorrect and wrong because Godwinson says so. Okay.
Okay, well, I'm happy to take that concession, John. Let's move on to the next tweet, shall we?
That wasn't a concession, you retard. Right, you have autism, there was sarcasm.
You say that, because I said that Mr. Vickkers was a good man, you say, fuck no!
He's not a good man.
Well, let me read your tweet.
Okay, go ahead.
For heaven's sake, let me give you the right of reply and have this argument in good faith. You say, fuck no, is Mr. Vickkers a good man? If I had a daughter and she had been through the shit Ralph had put her through, The last fucking thing I would do is appealing to a toxic online community and spreading all the family's dirty laundry for the public to see for attention, right?
Yeah, that's why.
You still stand by that, John?
100% yes.
So you don't agree with Matthew Vickkers having tried his best, having spent thousands, and forgiving an actual holiday for his remaining children just to try and bring her home?
No, I don't support that at all. Look at where that ended up with him.
So you don't recognize that he's clearly done his best to bring her back?
I don't know if he did or not. I don't really give a shit, because what you're missing...
Well, I think this is pretty important, because we need to define what you think a shitty parent is. And if you think a shitty parent is going to spend thousands to fly her back...
No. That doesn't matter if that particular action was shitty parenting or not. It does not change the fact that before that...
Because you're saying that his actions subsequent to that
No, it does not matter. It does not fucking matter.
Toxic.
No, it doesn't fucking matter if that's shitty parenting or not. Matthew Vickkers was looking out for his daughter in the way that he did.
Because first of all, that's not shitty parenting. That's a father trying and doing his best to bring his daughter
that
home.
Particular...
And secondly,
great, you found one example of Matthew Vickkers doing the right thing.
He's clearly been led to coming online and speaking his truth.
No, that's bullshit. No, that is some Me Too style bullshit. No, that is some Me Too style bullshit.
He's at his wit's end, John.
Oh, he is? Then why is he calling a lawyer?
This is the only way to win, John.
No, it isn't. What are you talking about? What is he winning against?
Okay, give me another option that Matt Vickkers has.
Okay, here's an idea. Option 1. Do nothing, ignore it, let her daughter face the consequences.
Nothing?
Yes.
Do nothing?
Yeah.
Let Ethan Ralph smear you as beating your child. Let Ethan Ralph smear you as saying you didn't know your daughter was being raped.
100% correct. I'll tell you exactly why.
Do nothing.
Yeah,
let
doing nothing
Ethan
works.
Ralph smear you on the internet where you have your business hosted.
Hey, Godwinson, people smear me. Godwinson,
on Twitter on a
people with much higher clout have smeared me.
Seriously, John?
Godwinson.
Do nothing.
Godwinson.
What's the matter with you?
Godwinson, relax. People have smeared with much higher followers and reach than Ralph. Smeared me. Sargon smeared me. Nick Rekieta smeared me.
Who cares about you? I'm talking about Mr.
Oh, who cares about me? But we're going to go ahead and cry.
You are entirely irrelevant.
Matt Vickkers is entirely irrelevant, you retard. He's not, doesn't matter. What, does he owe you money?
How is Mr. Vickkers entirely irrelevant?
Does he owe you money? Does he owe you money? Do you do business with Matt Vickkers? Does he owe you money? What's your relationship with Matt Vickkers? Why do you care?
I'm pretty sure Matthew Vickkers' business is hosted on the internet, and Ralph...
Why does that concern you? Why does that concern you? Why is Matthew Vickkers relevant to you?
Is Ethan Ralph constantly being written about via mainstream media outlets?
When? What articles in the past all year?
Okay, are we just going to pretend that Ethan Ralph doesn't have the Wall Street Journal coming after him?
That was 2 years ago.
What was it? Vanity Fair?
That was 2 years ago.
Magazine that came out
that was 2 years ago.
Are we just going to pretend that Ethan Ralph is not a public figure now, so you can pretend that
it doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if I'm not having an argument about whether or not Ethan Ralph is a public figure.
Like, are you retarded, John? Are you genuinely obtuse?
Dude, are you fucking retarded? You're saying that you're lying in front of everyone right now by saying that Ethan Ralph is written up all the time by journalists, and when it's not the case.
Is he not?
No, he's not.
Ethan Ralph last week, John, have an article written about him and his shenanigans on D-Live, John?
Well, that would be news.
John,
who wrote the article? Who wrote the article?
What?
Who wrote the article?
Well, you can Google it yourself.
Okay,
it's a mainstream media outlet.
Okay, let's do a little.
That has a very substantial circulation amongst the members of the public.
Let's go to Google News. Let's see. Oh, look, there's nothing here. Let me try going from relevant to date. Huh, it's almost like Godwinson. It's almost like you're full of shit.
That article linking Ethan Ralph.
Feds to the rescue. Why Trump deploying
Can
troops
somebody
to Portland.
link this retard? The constant articles from the Wall Street Journal.
Oh, look, a Russian propaganda site talked about used Ralph as a reference
on the internet. Can somebody link this retard? Actual fucking articles, because he's so obtuse and he's so disingenuous.
Far-right Morons exit of Lee Tucker Carlson, writer follows revelation of racist beliefs.
He's just going to pretend that this is not the case.
Where's Ethan Ralph even mentioned this one? Far-right podcast host Ethan Ralph shared a similar
John, you can read the article in your own time. The fact is that mainstream media outlets are
witch hunt. These are all negative articles.
Talking about Ethan Ralph.
This is a negative article. I found one by Right Wing Watch, and I'm going to guess it's by Jared Holt. How about that, Jared Holt?
John, what are you even talking about?
Godwinson, do you know what you're talking about?
Are you going to let me talk, or are you going to talk over me?
You've had so much room and time to talk. You can't be bitching about that this
John, every time I talk, you talk over me.
Okay, go ahead.
Because you're autistic.
Make your point.
Okay, let me make my point then. Ethan Ralph has a substantial reach beyond Kiwi Farms and you. Okay? Ethan Ralph smearing a man on the internet to 50,000 followers on a verified account when he's constantly under the eyes of mainstream media outlets like the Wall Street Journal and whatever, Time Magazine or whatever fucking articles.
Why do you reference articles from 2 years ago?
John, let me finish, for heaven's sake.
All right,
this is what you do.
All right,
every time I'm talking, you're just talking.
All right,
over
guess
me
I'll have to take notes.
The right of reply. Are you going to let me talk, John? Or do you just want to carry on speaking? Because if you just want to do a monologue, you can be perfectly happy to do that on your own.
Go ahead.
Am I allowed to talk, John?
You've had the floor. Go ahead.
Okay, so he tweets out 50,000 followers, verified account. He has the ability to smear someone, especially if Matthew Vickkers' business is hosted on the internet. Ethan Ralph has far more of a reach than just you and Kiwi Farms. Ethan Ralph is a public figure, and I'm pretty sure every time that Ethan Ralph is doing something notorious, it's being written up in various mainstream media articles and outlets. It's completely disingenuous to say that Ethan Ralph has zero reach and whatever Ethan Ralph says on Twitter is just completely irrelevant. You also said on your subsequent tweet that on a good tweet, Ethan Ralph only has 100 likes. But I'm pretty sure last week, Ethan Ralph got thousands of retweets, thousands of likes, thousands of engagement. People engaging with that tweet about riot is guaranteed when the Black Panther died. So you're being disingenuous you're misrepresenting Ethan Ralph's numbers. You're incorrect on this matter.
Okay, this tweet,
John,
I actually got this tweet before the stream started because you sent it to me. Yeah, I didn't know about this tweet. It has 475 retweets, 1,600 quote tweets, and 4K likes. And also, this is a very inflammatory tweet that probably got picked up by something else. So here's the points I want to go over that you made in that little screed. Tweets out to 50K followers. 40,000 of them, I'm going to take a guess, are dead or sock accounts that don't even fucking matter. So fuck off with that. Secondly, verified account, as I said,
to be true. You don't know that 40,000 sock accounts.
Then why is it only that?
That's just incorrect.
Then why is it all your examples?
That's just schizo posting.
Great. Then why is it that all of your examples have always been retweeted by someone with greater reach than Ralph has? Where he's got all these thousands of responses, if that's not the case.
What are you talking about? You said on a good tweet, Ethan Ralph only gets 100 engagements. I said, well, no, on a good tweet, which is recent, which is from last week, he gets thousands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got 8.
Well,
yeah,
there's no point
one
going,
tweet. Okay,
just either
he got
agree or disagree, John.
He got, I'm not going to disagree with what you said about him getting
because it's
one
fact.
tweet.
It's not baseless at all.
One tweet.
And what is baseless,
one tweet
John,
got thousands of
all
retweets.
All of Ralph's Twitter followers are bots. 40,000 of them even. That's baseless. That's
dude, on my pinned Twitter, I have one tweet that I made against Renee Krikeda that's got like hundreds and hundreds of likes and retweets. But it's not indicative. No, it's not.
We're not talking about John Michael Kelly. We're talking about Ethan Ralph being a
Godwinson, you had all this time to speak. Can I speak? Okay, so...
You're just being irrelevant. Completely irrelevant.
Dude, all this shit is irrelevant. That's that newsflash. All this shit is all irrelevant. I don't know if you're aware of this, but none of this shit matters.
Right. But you're going on a crusade against people saying stuff on the internet about
I'm not going... What do you mean a crusade? What do you mean by that?
Right? Okay,
what do you mean a crusade?
Right. So it's all a LARP now that you're losing and now that you've dropped the ball and you've dropped your spaghetti everywhere. Now it's all irrelevant.
Oh, look at that. He's embarrassed himself. He should concede the argument.
Well, you have embarrassed yourself. Are you going to cry again, John?
Okay, so you're just going to go to ad homs? Okay. So the problem with your examples...
First of all,
the problem with your example...
Because you did
if I have to explain why that's an ad hom... Don't patronize the audience. The audience is smart enough to pick up that that's an ad hom, dude.
To a man who admitted to your face...
Are you familiar with the concept of a filibuster?
That you cried to this man for hours? Are you just going to deny that? Or is that fact?
Okay.
Irrelevant. Well, is that fact, John, or are you just going to keep me?
I'm going to you because you're trying to go on a tangent and I'm not falling for it.
Did you cry when a man who admitted he was fucking a tranny as he was talking to you?
What?
Did you cry?
What?
For hours?
Oh, yeah, that incident happened 4 years ago that you think happened just yesterday? Yeah, it fucking happened. So who gives a fuck? Why do you give a fuck about that?
And it's a fact, right? It's a fact. That's not in doubt, is it?
No, that is a fact, yeah.
Right, okay. I'm glad we can agree on facts and actual...
Yeah, because again, I'm not trying to come as this high and mighty figure. If something embarrassing happened to me, yeah, it's embarrassing, but you know what? Who gives a fuck?
Well, do you think it's not morally fucking, questionable to cry and debase yourself?
Why is that an immoral act? It's embarrassing. Wait, hold on. Whoa. Firstly, that wasn't on air. Firstly, that wasn't on air. Secondly, why do you think it's immoral to...
What are you talking about? It wasn't on air. I heard you crying, John. I can hear you crying.
But it wasn't on air.
It was on air, John.
Do you understand what the words on air mean? It was a private hangout.
People, have we not heard John crying on air?
It was a private hangout.
Like, have we not heard? Is this not widely available where we can hear John's tears?
It's a private hangout.
What are you talking about, John?
Okay, when you say on air, that implies it's broadcast or live or it's on the radio or television.
It's broadcast. It's on YouTube. I can Google it now.
No, that wasn't on YouTube.
It's
you
on
retard.
air. It's
That's a
broadcast,
re-upload of a recording. Or did you not know that? Did you not know that was recording, not a stream? Why the fuck do you keep on talking about things you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about?
I'm not. You seriously?
No, you're making up. No, I'm not being pedantic. This is a very, very good point because the part you don't want to bring up, the part about that you don't want to bring up is the fact that there was a little bit of blackmail involved with that. But you don't want to talk about that. You just want to talk about, oh, how embarrassing is it that John Kelly cried?
No. In fact, I want to talk about you.
I don't care about you wanting to talk about me. I'm tired. I'm done with this deflection. We're not here to talk about everything under the sun.
Respond to this point. You're a great Christian. You're a morally pure.
That's irrelevant. I have to get back to your points about Ethan Ralph and the tweets.
You never make any baseless claims or anything like that. In fact, your morals are perfect.
Did I claim to be perfect, Godwin?
And cry
Godwinson, did I claim to be perfect? Godwinson, did I claim to be perfect?
Yes, you did.
When?
Many times, John.
When?
You
Cite
never
one
make
example.
Any claims that aren't baseless.
Cite
you never
one
make
example.
Any claims without verifiable evidence.
Cite one example. I never claimed that.
Didn't you say that at the start of the stream?
No.
You make zero baseless claims?
No. Don't twist it. When did I ever claim to be perfect?
Now you're walking back.
I'm not walking back anything, Godwinson. Why are you so full of shit? Why do you have to do this disingenuous, slimy tactics? I know you're smarter than this.
How is it disingenuous to
Because I asked you a specific question, and you're trying to bring up something else.
How is it disingenuous, John, to point
Because you're trying to bring up a different question.
You
know you're wrong about that. You know I never claimed to be perfect. You said, I asked you point blank if I ever claimed to be perfect, and you responded, I asked point blank if you...
He's fucking a tranny and then making you cry.
Okay, great. That is a wonderfully robust argument you have.
That's a good Christian capitulating to somebody like that, John.
Okay, that's a great argument, Godwinson. Unfortunately, it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. No, it's
and
not. It's actually
points to correspond.
Again, Godwinson, you have autism. You don't understand how to pick up sarcasm.
The autist is telling the fucking normal person that.
Godwinson, you're not a normal fucking person. Let's
we'll
get that straight.
We'll all pretend that we've all got mental illnesses, John. John, you don't.
Godwinson, you can't pick up sarcasm. Godwinson, you can't pick up sarcasm. When I make a sarcastic comment, like you made a good point. What is it,
John? Is mental illness autism?
I'm sorry, I'm not answering this question. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. So, firstly, I want to address the fact that you lied. You lied by saying I claimed to be perfect. And then I want to address the fact that after you claimed that I said to be perfect, you tried to deflect something else. So why did you lie about me claiming to be perfect?
Did you not say at the start of the stream that you never make any claims ever that aren't baseless?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't say that. In fact, I even said I try to be as accurate as possible. And actually, if you actually bother to listen to my streams, which you clearly don't, I always tell my audience, if I got anything wrong, go ahead and leave a comment or contact me and point it out.
This puppet operator of PPP who apparently has zero agency.
Did I ever claim that? Did I ever claim PPP has zero agency?
I'm pretty sure you did.
Pretty sure? Oh, now you're walking it back a little. Okay. I see how it is. You like to do this bullshit games and try to go ahead and deflect the conversation and reframe arguments and slip in little lies and get your opponent to agree with them. But people can see through this, Godwinson.
You call PPP a fat retard that apparently I feed, that apparently I fund, and apparently I use as a weapon.
I didn't say that. You didn't even listen to the stream. You're fucking retarded. You're full shit.
You did say that, John.
Okay, go ahead. Bring up the clip and I'll play it.
So I've got to bring up a 2-hour context segment.
You have to, yes, when you're making claims, you have to actually provide the context, you fucking dipshit.
I know you're a refugee from Gamergate, but this is...
A refugee from Gamergate. What were you doing during Gamergate? I'm curious.
2-hour context of John doing a stream on Godwinson.
Godwinson, I do have to ask, why did you go ahead? Godwinson.
So I'm going. Goodbye.
Okay.
Turn down my mic.
Yeah, I turned down your mic because you're constantly talking over me, and this is my show, and you're lucky I didn't just throw you out.
Coward.
I'm a coward because you're the one leaving? Okay. Oh, man. Okay, that was fun. Yeah, I did turn him down by 30% of his volume. And why did I do that? Because he was outright lying and doing this thing where he's talking over me and trying to filibuster the whole thing. The thing is, when you get down to it, Godwinson's just full of shit. You heard him live on air that he himself had said that he loves to make baseless claims. Well, he made a whole bunch of fucking baseless claims. I never claimed Godwinson was a feeder. I never claimed that he was funding PPP. He's so full of shit. And when I asked him to provide the context for this shit or to make citations for the dumb claims he's making, He doesn't come back to me with anything. He doesn't have shit. Even though right before this conversation, I told him, there's anything you want me to show on screen, provide it to me. That should tell you the character of Godwinson. And the fact that he's taking up for this horrible person called Matthew Vickkers, who raised his daughter to be a fucking whore, and he wants to play, oh my gosh, Matthew Vickkers is like such a victim. Matthew Vickkers is not a victim. Period. Anyone saying that is a liar. He is not losing business because Kiwi Farms and Twitterari on the internet aren't going ahead and saying that and buying his shit. They never would. This is why he's not going to court. This is why he's going ahead and trying to build a reputation for himself and notoriety. It's to make money off of this. And he's using his own daughter to do it. And it makes me sick. It really does. And that's why I called him out over it. I 100% stand by it. All right. This is an impromptu stream. I'm glad that Godwinson showed up. I'm disappointed that he was not as honest as he tries to. I mean, let's just be real here. Godwinson's never been honest. He's always been full of shit. And his excuse has always been, yes, I am shit. I am covered in shit. He's such a fucking retard. All right. That ends things here. Hope to see you next